Here's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Oh, what's this on my screen? I was hoping it'd be Mrs. M, but you really should do something about that nose hair meme. Thank you very much, James, for that. Superb. A problem for gentlemen of a certain age, of course. And snowmen, as you can see from the picture there. If I remove that now, look who's here, everybody. Where you been?
I've been in bed.
Just asked you to go out for a packet of cigarettes and you disappear for 7 days or something like that.
I've been dealing with a stomach bug, haven't I?
Different kind of fireworks for you,
yes,
New Year's
absolutely.
Eve.
Yeah,
right.
I was in bed listening to it, groaning while you guys were listening to the fireworks.
Yes, yeah. Mrs. M in bed groaning. And then in the last couple of days, not so. Was it two different sort of episodes? Or what?
I think they were connected. I think I had a little bit of respite in between.
Yes.
You know how your bodies can do quite miraculous things. It was our daughter's birthday, wasn't it? And
yes.
And my body got it all together. And then the other side of her birthday, then on came the other type of fireworks.
Oh, you got your priorities right.
I think that's what it was.
Which reminds me, I think we'll start the show this morning. Sorry we're late. Mrs. M sat down to join me on the other side of the desk, and there was something missing: a microphone, a pair of headphones, and a cable. I think that's all sorted out.
And I didn't have my light on either, did I?
I
mean, the thing is, I didn't even notice. I just sat in the chair and expected it all to be ready.
Yes. If the word diva does come to mind, I hope you don't mind me saying that.
No, it's fine.
We will find out if you do or not as the show unfolds. Hi, Louisa and Carl from OLP. Hope you're feeling better.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. A nice kiss from OLP there. Marty's with us as well, as is James. Antonio F. Thank you for your feedback yesterday with the word sonnante. As a French speaker, Mrs. M, you will know probably or have a good guess at what sonnante means, that wine that we were drinking from the Dow region.
Oh, really? I would think something about sound.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently the Google Translate translation is sinful.
Really?
Which, of course, we know drinking red wine.
Do you know what? I didn't know sin was that word.
What, sonnante?
Yeah.
I think it's incorrect. As we discovered with Antonio F. yesterday. Why it would have been translated like that, I don't know. But the case I was making yesterday, which was shared via our news page, because that's where I featured a little profile about that particular wine, was that if you study Portuguese wine, you learn about the culture, the language. It's great. It's not just, you don't just get to drink wine. It's a really good way of discovering Portugal. Some people will be pleased to know.
Yeah.
We will go to the news desk because I've found this delightful picture. Isn't that nice? Can you see that on the screen there? Do you know what that is?
It looks like honeycomb.
Yeah.
In the shape of Portugal, or it looks like one of those mercury aluminium exercises where you drill into aluminium and no, we don't do that here, and then pour in some molten mercury, and then you get like these kind of tall castles that come up.
For those of you who, yes, I've seen that video. For those of you who can see the screen at the moment, it's a beautiful rendition of Portugal. Can you guess why there are some lovely tall red and orange?
Is this
popular?
Is this population density?
Bang on, Mrs. M. Very good. Okay, I'll come back to that. I think that's beautiful. Discovered that on Twitter late last night. One of the more pleasant things that I discovered.
I'm surprised there's not much more density down in the Algarve.
Well, there are a lot of people, but there's a lot of space at the same time. There are concentrations, aren't there, as we discovered when we went there last year. But I don't think it's anything like the population density of Porto and the capital.
What would be interesting would be to see it by comparison to other countries.
Yes, well, this artist does that.
I don't know, really.
Yes, that's what he does.
Because I can't imagine there's a denser color than that dark red for the whole of the UK.
Maybe there's an eye-watering purple.
Maybe.
Yes, and who doesn't like a bit of eye-watering purple first thing in the morning? Now, you mentioned it was Minnie's birthday.
It was, yeah.
And before we come back and say hello to everybody in the comments, thank you so much for being here this morning, and thank you to everybody. That's the reason why Mrs. M didn't have a microphone or headphones this morning, is because they were being used at the meetup yesterday. Baddie is in this morning. So good to see you yesterday,
thank you for the presents, Baddie. So nice.
Weren't they good?
Yes.
I was going to say Portuguese chocolates. Icelandic chocolate selection box.
They're the bomb. They're so good.
With licorice in. There was some licoricey, sea salty type flavors
banana
in
caramel.
There.
I mean, this is the funny thing.
Baddie,
recovering.
You've spoilt us, Mrs. Ambassador.
Like recovering with a stomach thing, and then the kids are like, "Mum, try this. Mum, try this."
Did you get any gurgling?
I did. My stomach did.
Licorice, I think, is quite good as a digestive, isn't it? So that may have been helpful. And great to see you, Anne, at the meetup yesterday, hanging out towards the end. Suggested some ginger tea might be good for you as well, as I described your symptoms. So thank you very much for everybody's concern for Mrs. M. You can see she's back in the chair opposite me this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baddie, so much for your very kind Christmas gifts. Kids absolutely loved them.
Yeah. Yes.
And still are, I think.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and I will be terrifying them.
And what are those little round things? What are those
yes.
little round things? Are they little heaters that you put in your hand?
Well, the kids thought I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. They don't heat up. I think they're reflectors that you
put on your jacket. Yeah, as you're walking down the street in Iceland when it's dark for 3 months on end. I think you need a reflector of that kind. Is that what they were, Baddie? Also in the box there of gifts, the Christmas box. Right. Minnie's birthday, we went to an extraordinary place, did we not, Mrs. M?
Yeah, because, we said, Minnie, where would you like to eat today? And she went, I'm losing a tooth. I want something soft. All sorts of different things.
I know the feeling.
And then she said, okay, I want to go somewhere completely new.
Yeah.
And that sort of prompted your search.
I like a challenge like that.
Yes, you do.
And things happen, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
and it was quite a wild and wacky one.
Yeah. Okay. So it's coming up later. We have the lads from Lisbon at 9, and they will stay with us for Europe's biggest phone-in. I have been working on the jingle. Think.
But yeah, that made me chuckle. I was thinking something like loud and crashing, like a news desk.
I think we probably do need that.
I might have one of those tracks actually.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cleared for copyright?
Yes.
Are you sure?
All of my tracks are cleared.
You say that, and then I get warnings on YouTube.
I've paid for like copyright.
Okay. I hope that stands up in court. And I've resurrected this jingle as well.
Warning.
Dad joke alert meme, moving meme there. You're not keen on that?
That's not so much my kind of thing.
Marmite is dad
jokes.
Marmite,
it's the dad joke genre, isn't it?
You're not keen?
Not
I think you're begrudgingly.
Yeah, I do like a good joke.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So let's have a look at this video from. Oh no, what was I saying? 9 o'clock. Fabrizio and Ian, the lads from Lisbon, will return. They've been working with clients in the capital, and will tell us about some of the stories of their work with clients from 22 and sharing their predictions for 23. And of course, joining us, staying with us for Europe's biggest phone-in. Yesterday, we had our second caller. And James is with his understanding of the human psyche, James Holly has mentioned that we might allow people to remain anonymous if they're a bit shy. And I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, don't use the anonymity to be
an arsehole.
Yes, I was wondering which word to use, and you just went and used it without me needing to sugarcoat that pill. But because I have your number, even though I won't say what your name is. So don't be taking liberties and calling your silly names like Michael Hunt or whatever, trying to prank me on the phone.
The kids and I did think about doing a prank call on Monday.
Did you?
When we called in.
Please don't put ideas into people's heads. Okay. I'm not sure if I can do an anonymous cloaked call and not say what your name is on the screen. But I myself can protect your anonymity if you feel a little bit uncomfortable about being or having your name revealed. And you can put socks over the microphone and all that sort of stuff as well. Who doesn't like to put a sock over the microphone first thing in the morning? So that meant that with Andrew calling in yesterday, Lord Gilchrist, he is first and second on Europe's biggest phone-in. And Capricorn Chris made his debut as well. So he gets a sticker of this kind.
What were you talking about?
Can't remember. Actually, migration,
okay.
and that is actually one of the news items that we'll look at as well. It's getting a bit boring, frankly. If you look at our news, all of our news that's over there on the GMP news and features desk, Portugal now the best place in the world to retire to. Blah blah blah. No, it's great news, isn't it? Of course, and that is Portugal Living who've done that. Sorry, not Portugal Living, International Living. Portugal Living is a different.
Yeah, I mean that
feature we
sounds a
have
bit sort of biased, doesn't it?
Yes, Portugal Living says Portugal's a great place to live. It'd be terrible if that wasn't the case. But look, number one, Portugal scooping the gong, the award here. Oh, they get Barcelo for that, don't they? That's another jingle you're not at all keen on, as I recall. But it seems only right that we'll give them a bit of horn a little bit later on when we deep dive into those results from International Living.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for bringing that to my attention, James, as well. All over there on the Gumpers news desk. Right, that video that I've been talking about now for the last 5 minutes. I'll just get on and play it.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean it was such a lovely moment.
Here we go.
The thing about being in Portugal is you can take a drive up a gravelly path and you think to yourself, well, we'll be there soon, or maybe I've taken the wrong turn. We have just driven about, I think, 6 minutes up a track at maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour in old money to find this extraordinary place. So this is the map, and as I show you the view here beyond the map, look at that. These are the sort of things you find at the end of a track. Great big radio mast. Civil protection mast this is. And we are going to go and have a swing on the swing at the end of this track. And behold this incredible vista here. Look at that. I'm not sure if the kids lost their sense of humour on the way here. Look at this. It's celestial, absolutely celestial up here. And this is the swing at the end of the world, or is it the beginning of the world? Look at this. It's quite dramatic with this particular cloud formation up here. But no wonder they use this as a civil protection mast. Miles of Portugal, as far as the eye can see, and of course great for radio transmissions, presumably. But this is incredible, and we've come here for Minnie's birthday. What do you think, Min? Great. Are you going to have a go on this swing now? And swing, go on then.
Quite a long outro there. What a place, Susan.
Did the music get a little bit
remixed
at the end? Right at the end.
Yeah,
I thought I heard a little bit of
I think the musician was having a little bit of fun at the end there. That was on the original recording.
There was a little bit of a duff note at the end.
Yes, very well spotted.
I didn't notice that before. But
very well spotted. Yeah,
I haven't sat still enough.
I thought I'd managed to fade that out. But what a place!
No, it's quirky. I like it.
What a place!
Yeah, it was amazing because I mean the funny thing is, like, you know, we've gone down quite a few of these tracks before, haven't we? You know, where you don't know where you're going, and
we think we've gone the wrong way.
Yep. Because you know the Portuguese aren't very good at putting down signposts for their attractions.
Well, they know where everything is. They don't need to constantly remind themselves where it is because they know where it is. And it's helped us learn a little bit about faith, isn't it? And to trust. You know, if the sign points you in that direction, it probably is in that direction.
But I mean, it looked so incredulous, like it wasn't going to be there.
Yes,
incongruent to
and you didn't see much of Gloria, the Netflix series, did you? Did you see any of it at all?
What was that?
Oh, you clearly didn't. Right, okay. Antonio knows where this is. Cerro Ventoso, Porto de Moshes municipality in the Parque Natural de Serras de Air e Candeiros. What an amazing part of the country. I think, would you agree, Antonio, slightly understated and unsung as a wonderful part of Portugal? And I would think that's among the biggest views you're going to see. You get to see, when we drove down to the Algarve for the first time, we saw some incredible views from Monchique, didn't we?
Yeah.
Around Monchique. And but I think
one of their viewing points that we had to drive for about 20 minutes to get to.
And
Again,
another one of those, yeah. And we
signposted.
saw an oil beetle for the first time, didn't
Quite
we?
a few of them.
Terrifying, flipping science fiction type beetle.
We were
wanting
having a
to.
picnic, and all of a
Yes.
sudden they were around us.
They came to join us like a character from Alice in Wonderland. At the edge of the picnic blanket.
Yeah.
Anna's here as well. Good morning to you, Anna. Bon dia to you. Give Nunu our best regards this morning as well. Which reminds me, we have the Ugo Nuno meme as well for the information, the fun facts and phenomena supplied by Tito. Not sure where he is this morning, but great to see him yesterday. Look, there is the great Ugo Nuno. You were asking who Ugo Nuno is.
It's a completely made up.
No, we would never completely make something up here on the Good Morning Portugal show, and certainly not the fun facts and phenomena. Phenomena. That'll be the great Ugo Nuno, who'll be back with one of those in a little while then. Okay. Oh, and I must show you some beautiful photographs from Owen. Let's do that now so that we don't forget.
Yeah.
We've got the lads from Lisbon joining us at 9. You must be, although you have unburdened yourself quite considerably in the last little while, were there a few things you wanted to say to catch up now you're on the screen?
Not really.
Okay.
Other than we've got a really strong full moon tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Strong
So anyone like it's likely to really affect Cancerians.
Yeah.
And also people with their moon in Cancer. In particular, it's a really strong one. It's one of the strongest ones of the year.
Yes.
And I see it very much as a time of. In fact, I'm going to post an update on Feel Good Astrology today.
Yeah.
I've gone to town on it. And I'm a little bit late in putting up my January updates, but they're all going to go live today.
I'm a little bit late putting up my 2022 predictions. Okay.
No, just like my 5-minute forecast for all of January. I was literally just about to do it just as the first wave of sickness started.
Yes.
So
okay. All right.
I'll get them all sorted today.
And the place to look is what, Louisa Tanner Munson or Feel Good Astrology?
No, just go to YouTube, and then it's at Feel Good Astrology.
How did you manage to get that name? Pretty good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Bon dia from Pete as well. Who's here now. A beautiful frosty sunny morning. It is an icy one. The frost is here. Killing all those bugs in the ground. I really noticed it this morning. They're working on the children's playground at the end of the street.
How's that going?
And it's crunchy up there underfoot. Well, the huge pile of sort of aggregate stuff that seems to have concrete mixed into it, which I think is forms part of the flooring, has been smoothed out by a large piece of earth moving equipment. So very interesting up there.
It's been
yeah. Look.
How long has it been going on now?
It's been raining. Come on, it's been raining for 12 months, so they haven't been able to work.
Yeah.
That'll be me then, Mrs. M. That's all we need right now, isn't it? Us
Oh,
Cancerians.
yes. Sorry. Sorry.
To all Cancerians. Yeah. It's not actually your fault, though, is it? That there's
no. I mean, Capricorns will also be feeling in fact, any of the cardinal signs. So you've got Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, and Libra.
Okay.
Are going to be the ones that are most affected by this particular full moon.
Right. Okay. And the creatures and the water levels, as well, as you can see on the screen here. So, Owen, there's a few things pertaining to you on the screen. Marty has some I've read it as old boy seasoning.
What's that?
I have your old bay seasoning. Got to get it over to you soon. Isn't that a lovely
what?
gift?
In Devon, that would be old boy,
bay
wouldn't
seasoning.
It? All right, Old Bay.
They're Old Bay. But Old Boy seasoning, it's like Old Spice aftershave or something. Isn't it? It's Old Bay, not Old Boy. And look at
brought
these.
Back some horrible thoughts.
That's it?
And memories from the 80s.
Okay. We have over on the Gumper
I did want to say another thing in terms of this full moon.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently around the times of the full moon and also the equinoxes, don't worry, we're away from one of those.
Yeah.
But the full moons, our cells in our body start dumping our toxins into our bloodstream. It's like the full moon is a bit like a pump for us to start dumping stuff. So
oh dear.
I mean, a bit in the way that there's a lot of people that believe that colds and flu are actually the body expressing what it needs to get rid of, and getting rid of all the old material that's floating around in your body. And,
yes.
And then it's a bit of a healing crisis.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so, you might want to really be, looking after yourself, drinking a little bit more water, just to clear clear it all out.
Taking it easy.
Because the moon in Cancer is ruled by the moon. You know, Cancer is all about the waters. It's all about your integrity, like your body integrity. It's like cleaning house.
Yes. Okay. So
Getting
go
really clear
easy
with
on
that
yourselves.
energy.
I mean, I think it's quite good to take a fairly low profile at the time of a new moon, right?
Full
a full moon.
moon.
I beg your pardon. Full moon.
Yeah, definitely.
But also,
I mean, it's a
new
Friday.
moon.
I'm always a bit sort of cautious around full moons at the end of the month and on a Friday or a Saturday, because they're the ones where people go out and get drunk, you know, because of payday and stuff. I mean, I know we're not exactly in that kind of paradigm here in Portugal. You know, if you're in that steady 9 to 5 Monday to Friday where you're salaried, those full moons are really quite disastrous.
Are you speaking from personal experience? Yes.
Yeah, I was fond of partying, let's say.
Okay. All right. So let's have a look then at this solitary heron. And this is maybe more the posture one might like to observe a full moon, is just to be still.
Yeah.
And to go about one's business. And when I say go about one's business, I don't think that heron is taking a dump in the river.
Probably is.
I imagine it is. I imagine it is as well, actually. That's probably quite ecologically, good to do that. And there is that one wonderful heron that Owen has captured here. Sorry, I could call you Owen, Lloyd, and Martin are all first names. It's a little bit confusing, isn't it? So, Owen, this is Lloyd on the Lemur, everybody, which I think it's a franchise.
I like that.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
It could be its own telly show as well.
It really could.
And this is a collection of pictures that Owen shared with us yesterday that I've put up on our blog. Flow, Be Like Water. Yes, our very own food alchemist and his recent studies of the River Lima in the north of Portugal, where the water is so clean, otters are happy to make their home there, as you'll see
really
in this collection of pictures.
Oh,
Look at that wily old heron there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that it's an old heron, but it looks like an old man, doesn't it?
It looks like an old man,
It's got the countenance of some kind of old Asian, you know, like one of those like Japanese fishermen or something,
or even somebody in a royal court.
Oh yeah,
with a little bit of wisdom. And I think there's another bird jumping about in the foreground as well there. Or it's some dog droppings. I'm not sure. I can't see. I can see the heron more clearly. These are cormorants, are they not?
I don't know, but they're gorgeous.
They're a bit more communal, aren't they? Sitting on the rocks there, looking like they're about to have some fun. And the heron looking at them, going, "Could you mind keeping the noise down? I'm trying to fish here." And a gull there, by the look of it, that's beautifully captured, isn't it? On the River Lima, which is quite swollen at the moment. And then these beautiful studies of the textures of the water.
Wow.
Which are very special. And there's the otter.
Oh, look at Mr. Otter there, or Mrs. Otter.
Peeking through.
That's so sweet.
Having made a home in the River Lima there.
And this is all in Portugal.
Aren't we lucky? All in northern Portugal. Look at those lovely water textures there. Us Cancerians like a bit of that. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah.
These are absolutely beautiful. And back to Mr. Heron. There. Superb. Thank you very much for those. Let's say hello to everybody then as we anticipate the arrival of Fabrizio and Ian this morning. Sorry, this has taken a really long time. Ian is here. Coach Turner Bon dia Gumper's off early to carry out grandparent duties this morning, so we'll catch up later. Have a good show and a great day. Thank you very much.
Great time with the littlies.
Yes. God squad tip of the day then from you. Lie on your back with your feet flat on the ground. Gently raise. I mean, there are not many people who can order you to do that, are there? Coach Turner is one of them. We allow him to do that. Gently raise and lower your hips a few times. Build up to 3 sets of 10. Will help you keep up with Bob. That's quite a claim. That's quite a claim, isn't it? Keeping up with Bob.
Is that in terms of
his sexual prowess?
Yes.
No,
okay.
I think it's actually his physical fitness. But for Bob, we know those two things go together, right? I think.
Well, we'll be hearing more about that
next
week,
we? On the a week on Monday, the 16th, when we talk about relationships, love, and sex for the over 60s. Something to look forward to, literally, for me. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz quinta todos. Como va todo? Morning, James. Great to have you here. And bon dia, another 15 centimeters of snow in
kids
Stockholm.
Kids would love that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, who doesn't like 15 centimeters
that's
first
one,
thing in the morning?
That's one promise we didn't fulfill, isn't it, this year?
Okay, well, we've missed it now. Perhaps we'll go and see Baddy for a coffee and cake and Serra da Estrella and go and get some snow up there this year. Bon dia todos. We've got our very own snow warning, haven't we? With Baddy. Baddy can say, yes, I can see the peaks. We've got some snow. Get yourself in the car.
Yes.
Bon dia todos from Antonia, who's been very helpful this morning. As we'll come back to in just a moment. And happiest of New Year's to you, Fabrizio and Ian. I will star that and pass them on to them personally in just a moment. People are drinking this time, certainly metaphorically with emojis. And Anna lighting up. What's this? It lights up Sweden in the darkness. Let's long to. Oh, I see. That's the snow. It helps with the with the light reflection, of course. Buon dia a todos from sunny Cerzadillo. Is that what you're going to be? Is that your forever home or a base for you, Marty, if you don't
Where
mind
is
me probing?
Cerzadillo?
North of Portugal.
Cerzadillo.
Cerzadillo. And coffee all across Portugal is excellent and so affordable. This makes me happy,
Yes.
except the instant coffee. What are you doing?
Why are you doing that?
Yes, don't please, Marty.
There's no need to do
there
that.
Must be a cafe not far from you. You don't need to do that to yourself. Instant coffee in Portugal.
Oh my goodness.
I think that will be a sort of, you're going to have not.
You have to keep that quiet. They might kick you out.
Well, eventually there will be a pre-crime situation, won't there? As soon as anyone thinks of making instant coffee, Tom Cruise will come abseiling in through your window. Yes, put that down, sir. They are reflectors for the kids. Something to wear so the Christmas cat does not get to eat them. Well, thank goodness for that. Deep thought then. It's a rare gift to know where you need to be before you've been to all the places you don't need to be. It can take a lifetime, can't it? It can take a lifetime, and that is Ursula K. Le Guin. Did
you ever find out how you pronounce her name?
No, I'm just going with Le Guin.
Oh, okay.
Ian and Fabrizio might be able to help with that. I imagine
that is a deep thought.
They might have a French tongue on them and some pronunciation tips on that. Andy is here. Andy, good morning to you. Thank you for your tech help yesterday. Bon dia. Guess what? There is no point of interest on the Gumper map to the viewing swings of Portugal. Well, let's put that right. Let's make sure we put Serra Ventosa, which Antonio has helped us with. So if you were inspired to go to that swing that you saw in our video there, that's where it is. And it's one of many because the kids were on the swing overlooking Nazaré a few days before. We've got some great viewing swings. Again, as Antonio
I've never heard of viewing swings before. Do they have them in the UK?
It's not the same as the swingers group of Portugal. That's different. I think, yes, be careful searching for swinging in Portugal. Plenty of
lots of high fun in.
Yeah, yes, plenty of. I'm sure there are many puns.
Swinging with really good views.
Swinging with really good views. How about that? Come to Portugal and swing with really good views.
What that video didn't quite, really show you was that the view really went around the corner as well. And I got on the swing and I had Solomon, our 4-year-old, like holding on to me for dear life and then sort of chuckling all the way through. And I got up a bit higher than the kids, not sort of like bragging.
Competitive.
But you could, like, the view just kept expanding around a corner and it was
we didn't capture its majesty, did we?
I don't think you can.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You might need a drone or something. That would be good.
Or get yourself up there.
Hey, you've got your drone pilot.
I do have a drone pilot's license.
Yeah.
I've not been able to use that in an emergency situation and part a crowd and say, step back. Stand back. I have a drone pilot's license. Please don't panic, anybody. And plenty of beautiful viewing points around, most of them basically unknown. I think that's true. And it's and Andy.
Well, let's put these on the Gumper map.
Let's make that right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes to everything in 2023. Why not? Be positive, be happy, be legal.
That's not
worth including that at the end.
That's not one I'd naturally think of putting, in like Happy New Year's messages.
Yes. Maybe an asterisk and write that on the back of the card, not right there to climax your sentence there. There seem to be lots of great swimming spots on rivers around Portugal. This is the Praia Fluvial, isn't it? The river beaches of Portugal.
Not just the river beaches. I mean, the river beaches are amazing, but on Tuesday, before my second bout occurred, we went to San Martin, didn't we?
We swam in the bay, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. And I will be making a Daniel Craig-like video of myself emerging from the water. I know some of you like a bit of that. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. This was us, wasn't it, the other day? Look at that. Beautiful photo.
Yeah, 2 of our kids.
In San Martin de Porto Bay. Before I entered the water.
Yeah.
And parted it like Moses.
Yes.
With my physique. I think we should give them a nice round of applause and bring them onto the screen. Here they come.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's... What's that?
I have no idea what sound effect that is.
Let's get the right... what about this? No.
No.
How about this one, then? A smattering of...
Yes, that's more like it.
That is more like it, isn't it? Good morning,
Bon dia.
Happy New Year. Hello, you guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. We're doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. A bit of a rough start to 2023, but it's all good.
Yes.
Getting back in the flow of things.
Well, great to see you in your beautiful
You're looking happy
Lisbon
and shiny.
home. They are, aren't they? Absolutely. Do you have a nice Christmas?
We had a good one. Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Excellent.
We've been to Rome the week before Christmas, so we avoided all the big thing about being at home the day of Christmas. So we done it just a week before, and then we spent Christmas here in Lisbon with some friends, and then with ourselves, and it was good.
Tell us about, well, before you do, I mean, do you sing, are you tempted to sing Arrivederci Roma as you leave? I would be, or is that just a tourist thing?
No, because I just only know that line that you mentioned.
It's the only one of the song that you know.
Yeah. The rest,
same here. Same here. Okay, but it's so beautiful. I don't know why I know it. I mean, why would an English kid know Arrivederci Roma, but nothing else of the song?
The vibrato is just Roman 100%, so it's great.
Thank you so much.
I think if you improve on that, you can dive into fado with no problem.
Really, I can make the transition.
Yeah. Vibrato is there.
Thank you so much. So, what was Christmas like in Lisbon? People would like to know that. I think all around the world. New Year was unbelievable in Lisbon, wasn't it? But what's Christmas like?
Yeah, it was wet.
Right.
Which kind of restrictive you think we planned on doing, but no, we had friends over for Christmas Eve, so we actually had some people here who like a bit of an expats meal, and then Christmas Day we went over to some other friends who are Portuguese, but they didn't do some of the traditional ones, did they? So Paula did. She said, "I'm not doing fish." She did a feijoada, which she said
really
traditional. But
a little break from the norm there. Okay, so
definitely.
Because normally it would be your boiled bacalhau, wouldn't it, on Christmas Eve?
Would be or bacalhau or polvo.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you went with a festive feijoada.
And New Year's Eve we went to another friend of ours, Lucinda, and she's also Portuguese, but she couldn't be bearing with cooking, so she ordered a leitão, so nobody cooked, everybody was relaxed and just
excellent. And the fireworks went on for half an hour, did they not?
Yes. It was great. It was great.
Great. Did you go promenading around to see those, or were you able to watch from a balcony?
None of the two. On television.
We watched on television.
We watched on television.
Cheat.
Excellent.
It was warmer and drier, so we watch it from the telly, really. So.
Yes, but we played a little bit of video from Twitter of the fireworks. They were extraordinary, and they went on and on, didn't they? It was incredible.
Yes,
actually,
we went a couple of years ago.
Just before COVID, and then it was quite a long display as well. It was quite spectacular. Also across the river, so in the river, and you see across the river because, of course, you get some around Almada and around there, which we're going off. So
because the main festivities are usually around Praça do Arco, so the Praça do Comércio. Sorry. So you're right in front where the display takes part. So it was rather spectacular.
Yes, wouldn't it be incredible to see it from the Almada side, from the top of the Cristo Rei? That's the big ticket, I guess, isn't it? The top of the Cristo Rei on New Year's Eve to see the
fireworks. I suppose it's one because it's also a smaller place compared to Praça do Comércio, which is enormous.
Yes, incredible. Okay, so well done.
It's quieter on New Year's Eve, though.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? How Portugal is a contender on the world stage of New Year's Eve celebrations, rivaling many cities, I think, and its atmosphere. As well. I mean, that was certainly. We weren't able to make it to San Martino de Porto Bay, where the fireworks were equally impressive, I think, in their own way. But people were talking about how friendly the atmosphere was, not intense. That's
right. It's a rather chilled event, even if everybody is in a rather festive mode. It's a rather chilled, polite queues that we are respected to get a drink, which might take over an hour, but to get the but everything seems to be quite festive, but rather polite. Not much
to do. Yeah, it's true.
Drunk and violent attitude to.
Isn't that so nice to know? And that, of course, is why one of the reasons why International Living have voted Portugal #1 with an average score of 87.4 knocking Mexico, Panama, Ecuador, Costa Rica, Spain, Greece, France, Thailand, and the other one that's hidden behind that greeting to you into a cocked hat for number 1 position. Well done, Portugal. We may come back to that. You're here this morning. You help people move to primarily the capital, right? And help them find homes and get set up. And live a best and beautiful life here in Portugal. We're keen to hear your predictions for 23, but I think it's been an interesting 22 for you. You've helped a few people, and you've got a few anecdotes perhaps to share from the last year.
Yeah, well, it's been 2022 has been a bit of when our business has developed, and therefore it was a chance for sort of case study of different scenarios and different life paths and experiences of people that we get to know and work with, or either not work with. So if that makes sense.
I think that, but the one interesting thing that came out of that, and I don't know whether this is a post-COVID thing, is that once we got to the main part of summer, probably from June time onwards this year, June through to October even, there was a massive rush of people trying to find rent accommodation. And I think that was, I'm sure a lot of people were quite shocked by it, because it was a time where not only did prices go up quite a bit, but also things were just literally flying off the shelves. I mean, we were having situations where we would spot things coming in at 9 o'clock in the morning sort of thing. And then by 11 o'clock, by the time you got the agent to call you back, they said, oh no, it's been viewed and gone.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that's what's happening.
That's what's happening. And so consequence of that obviously also was the fact that prices shot up. And that was the other feedback that we started to get, were people saying, wow, we saw, we've seen advertisements of people who've done YouTube videos and what price they paid, and now we're paying 50 to 100% more than what they were talking about originally. Right. And I think part of that was probably just because people had got used to renting stuff maybe in the COVID time, and therefore prices had dropped a bit, or especially people coming over, I guess, couldn't travel to Portugal anyway, so the visa process slowed down and almost stopped for a period of time, and now came back with a bang. More interestingly, though, in the latter part now, I've noticed that then suddenly about November time, you see a lot of prices dropping. A lot of people advertising prices dropping on rentals, and it seems we haven't got too many people around the moment. Obviously, Christmas people aren't around doing most of the visa process, but that's one thing that is coming out, is the fact that prices seem to have dropped now much more closer to what they were. They're still slightly higher than the start of the year, but they're not the mad things that we were seeing in the summer. So
interesting.
What I'm not sure of is how that will repeat, whether that will repeat next year, whether we'll get this big influx once people start to come over this year. Because there does seem to be a lot more people interested, obviously, I guess, when they start to get summer holidays of coming over from the US to start the scouting trip, and combine it with a holiday rather than doing the middle of the winter when it's cold and occasionally wet.
Yes. Yes, occasionally wet. My goodness. What's your sense of it then, looking forward to the year ahead?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I think that there's two. It's obviously quite uncertain anyway. I mean,
all sorts of factors, haven't we?
Exactly. There's all sorts of information coming in, so it's very hard to predict what that's going to be. I mean,
yes.
One thing says that prices could go up, as they have gone up in other places, because if people are renting stuff, or people start buying stuff with a mortgage to rent, obviously their mortgage potentially could have gone up, in which case they might be trying to pass that on. And as we're seeing in many other cities, that's quite a common theme that you're hearing now. I mean, not just in Portugal, globally, that's quite a common theme, that, the rental side of it is going up and house prices are stabilizing, maybe coming down, so it's that mortgage thing is having that effect of changing that balance.
Yeah.
So that potentially, could be something that we'll just have to wait and see. It's very hard to see, because it's very hard to predict what will happen to mortgages, what will happen to everything else. How will people pass that on?
And also, a lot of clients, the rental fact, when is the rental, what they're looking for is usually related to a process of visa, of obtaining the visa. So a lot of that is also, it's been changing through the year with the changes that CEF put into place, what the requirements were for a visa process, and that happened quite. It did happen in the last changes quite abruptly.
Yeah,
it didn't. It didn't have much of a pre-advice to that. So a lot of change. A lot will change if that process will change in the future, and when it will change, and how that will change.
As in terms of what the efficiency of dealing with people's visa applications.
Probably, yeah. I think.
And also the requirements.
So I think the other one is the requirements are much stricter now. So obviously we're being told, we do work with a couple of visa lawyers, and they're, occasionally we've looked at things in contracts that we've not been sure of, because there's two things we do. One is we do help people only in the Lisbon area to find things, but another one we do offer is a service where we will help people understand their contracts and make sure that everything fits in. And if there's clauses they don't understand, we will help to go back to the agents or the owners, especially if they're Portuguese, and just discuss and see if we can get some of that ironed out.
Yes.
That's one whereby, people on their own are probably not realizing, they may get a paper contract, they might not realize that CEF are also apparently now checking more often if it has actually been registered with Finanças. So, so obviously the paper contract at that point is of no use to them, other than the fact that they can probably prove that somebody's not paying their taxes. That's about as much as you can go. It's no good for your visa process. So it's, so we obviously have noticed a few more things on that side, with a few people wanting to. We've had a couple of clients that have come in with split rents, so it's kind of you pay some of it in cash and some of it there, because obviously they want to reduce it. It's like, okay,
we're strongly
cautious on that one, because
obviously is the decision of our clients, obviously, but we in that case strongly advise against whatever.
Mainly because a lot of them have then tried to also have a cash sum. They've also split the deposit, so it's kind of a cash sum that's not registered anywhere. And I think they're sort of doing that to make up for the fact that somebody could come along and pay the first month and then just say, well, it's it's €800 a month. That's all I'm going to pay. Forget the rest of it.
It's not a good idea.
They've already accumulated that.
So there's a little takeaway there for people who are embarking on this process. The best kind of tenancy to have is one that is registered, or the contract is registered with Finanças, which means that the homeowner pays the appropriate tax on it. And if it's gone through that process, you can be a lot more confident, can't you, that it's a proper kosher rental agreement rather than something hastily cut and pasted from some other document, which sometimes happens. Let's face it.
Plenty of time actually. And or there might be some strange requirement on a contract which is literally half of line or half a sentence, which it will require you. For example, we review a contract for a couple of clients, and they rented this apartment in Alcântara here in Lisbon, and they had this sort of beautifully restored wooden floor by this huge window, and there was literally down the contract written in Portuguese. Obviously, also remember, for anybody that is listening to this, that most of the contract that you will be signing, they will be translated if required. So what you will be signing and what it will be legally valid will be the Portuguese version. So if the two translations do not match in any point, you will be signing whatever is written in Portuguese.
Well said. Yes.
So what we do also, we compare those two translations if they are in place to see if they match. Anyway, to go back, there was a line that it will say, any changes to the aspect, to the appearance of the wooden floor, they will be held responsible for. And obviously, we have wooden floor here at home, and we're careful with it. Put in parentheses, obviously. But obviously, our floor with normal size windows are bleached.
Yes. Oh, of
and
course.
Then I will say to them, your floor will bleach, and you will have furniture into places. And by law, at the end, when you will go, for sure, you will be required to arrange either sanding or a refinishing or a replacing on the floor. So make sure that this has changed. And this literally was one liter half a sentence in 7 pages contract. So
worth getting checked out. Definitely worth getting it checked over. And the point, just to illustrate that a bit further, the English version is a kind of serving suggestion for guidance purposes. That's not what you're signing necessarily, is it?
No, it's not.
The Portuguese version of the contract is what you're literally putting your name to.
The English or the French or the German version will be there for rough. Most of the time, 99.9% matches.
Yes.
99.9%. I'm not saying that, but there will be that sort of percentage of half a word that might not be translated properly,
especially if there's late changes. Somebody may have just missed that out. And we therefore tend to always work off the Portuguese one. Actually, we just do a Zoom like this, and we just literally read through the clauses and say, this is what this one does. Translating it and reading it as you go through, rather than working on the translation. Because
what a great idea! What a good idea. Now, this Portuguese saying here, "Tempo é mare." Não esperam ninguém.
Não esperam por ninguém.
Yes, time and tide wait for no one. However, make sure you just take a little bit of time to look through the contracts here.
Oh, yeah. No, take your time to do that, and then the rest.
Yes. So that's a great service you're offering your clients there to pause for a moment and have a look at the small print, literally. And any other cheeky ones like with the floorboard situation?
I think exactly. I was trying to think. I think it's not so much a cautionary one. I think it's probably expectation of one, which is obviously the length of the visa process, which I know is a great topic at the moment by everybody.
Yes.
But we are getting a lot of clients who are spending a lot of time being concerned about, I want this contract. It's supposed to be a year, but I'd like to break it early, and and then obviously that gets into quite a complex negotiation. That is one thing if you're thinking about it. I mean, first of all, the visa processes are taking longer. We had some clients, I think, that we did a deal with in June. They signed a contract and they just moved over just before Christmas. All their paperwork was finalized and they actually got to the time of moving over, because obviously, yes, Seth will deliver your paper one day, but you don't hop on the plane the next day. So a lot of people's concerns, I think, over this thing of, can I cut it down as short as possible? If it's a year contract, just expect you could be there for a year. And that's probably not such a great expectation, you know what I mean? Because that's just what it is. Maybe that's not the property you like. But by the time you get here and by the time you sort yourself out and establish yourself, all that worry about trying to cut the visa, cut the length of the contract down by 3 weeks or a month or 2 months or 3 months just to save a bit of money is not the place you should be worrying about. You might want to worry more about, have you moved into the right area? Are you looking at the right thing? Are you happy with what you've done? So perhaps we're trying to explain to people, refocus on where you're looking for that as well.
Great advice, really good advice. When we came into this house that we are sat in now, talking to you, it was a 3-year lease I was signing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever made a commitment of that kind, apart from my marriage. I don't think I've made a commitment of that kind. 3 years. What? And we were thinking, well, that's a long time. And it's flown by. It really that is such good advice.
We're 18 months in.
We're 18 months in, and it is such good advice, because you will have other things on your mind and on your to-do list that will certainly take care of the passage of time. As we found out, it waits for time and tide wait for no man. And your tenancy agreement will fly past for sure as well. And it's funny, isn't it, the things people get hung up on like that. What, Mrs.
We did find out about a month or two later that we're required to whitewash every wall on our departure.
Yes.
Which I didn't notice that when we were looking through the contract. So it just goes to show you do need to put aside a bit of time and money at the end of your contracts. Because I mean, I'm used to just like leaving things kind of as I found them, but not actually like redecorating the place.
And it could be literally a line in hiding in your contract somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's what we suggest is to take time in that sort of stage, and also don't. And another thing that we experienced and we strongly advise against is the so-called internet knowledge, or the things that the people read on Facebook posts on and forums, and they are now set in stone as the absolute truth, and that's the way that it works in this country. Therefore, I arrive. Therefore, I have a contract for a year, and therefore my visa arrive in 15 minutes. And then I cancel this contract a third of this length, so therefore in 3 months I'm away, and I can get this kind of property for this kind of amount of money. So what we strongly advise against is to be really a sponge. This will be a new experience. This will be a new dimension. This will be new properties, a new city, a new language, a new social dynamic. So to be really ready to arrive here as a sponge to absorb whatever is the reality that is here. And then once you're here, or you get to talk to someone that knows about how it works, then readjust your parameters of what your concept of reality is, really.
Well said. Some great advice and insight this morning. Screenshots of Facebook do not stand up in a court of law well, probably anywhere. I guess they might as evidence, but they certainly not as a consultancy and advice for sure. And people do hang on every word that sometimes, don't they, in a forum group. You look for the thing you want to hear, don't you?
Absolutely. And everybody turns into an absolute expert about everything from nuclear engineering to I don't know, geopolitics to visas, and usually it's the same person that is an expert.
Same person, absolutely right. Yes, with a string of degrees. With a string Yes. This is a great question from Stephen. Good morning to you, Stephen. What proof should the owner give you it has been registered with Finanzas? I can't remember what happened. Ours certainly
at the moment, once it's registered, they should be logging on to the Finanzas site, and they're supposed to log both the contract and every payment you make. You can ask for a receipt from. They should register every single one. So you should at least be getting all of those realistically, and I would advise that you tell them to send you those as they register it each month, because at least you can walk into into the visa office with all your information saying this is what was paid, and they can then look that up. So there are, in the normal things, there are the documentation that says this payment was made as a PDF that can be sent to you.
And I think it is re-registered with a new tenant as well, isn't it? So you should be able to ask for that, and you may even, if the circumstances allow for it, go in with the landlord to do that. We were helped with that bit, weren't we?
Yeah.
But we definitely get a receipt that the landlord gets as part of having that registration, and then that's forwarded on to us. So it's really good belt and braces stuff. So that shouldn't be too difficult, Stephen. And I don't think it would seem rude to ask for a little more than just yes, it's registered with Finanzas.
No. I don't think that Stephen. I don't think, Stephen, you should be. You will be seen as any rude or any pushy if you require. For example, if you did pay 6 months in advance for receipt for this to be sent over to you as soon as the money exchange hands, and is required by law. So any proper homeowner that rents his apartment should be doing it.
So also, as they do, is on the Finanzas portal, you do put for each payment that you receive, you actually say the duration when you went. So it's not even like they can say, oh, well, you pay 6 months in advance, but we just have to issue you a month at a time. No. You issue the thing that says,
if you pay 6 months, you will have
that's at this date.
Oh, that's another good point. There's been a bit of malarkey with some unscrupulous landlords saying, yes, you can have the place, but I want the whole year up front. Are you hearing about these sorts of
yeah.
I kind of, it swings and roundabouts, really. I kind of understand it, because I think that the problem is, obviously goes back to Portuguese law of how you throw someone out if they don't pay, which I'm not saying that people won't pay, but you can see the fact that it's heavily weighted on the tenant side and not on the landlord side. And the problem is, even if you say 6 months in advance, if on that 7th month that person hasn't paid, it's only at the 7th month that the landlord can actually go in and start trying to take any action to evict the client. So, and also there's another side of it, which is that often in Portugal, you won't get in to see a property until it's actually empty and ready to be rented.
Yes.
So I do see on a year's contract that a landlord is going to be concerned by saying, hang on, you come in here, I clear out the place. After a couple of weeks, I managed to put it on sale. A month goes by, another month goes by the time I got the contract and somebody in there. So I've lost 6 to 8 weeks of rent.
Yes.
And somebody comes in for a month, and then after 6 months they don't pay anything, and and then I take 3 months to get rid of them. So it's potentially you can lose so much money on that. That I understand why people want to say, I want to guarantee that you're going to sit here for 12 months because I need to recuperate some of that. Potentially 2 months of property was empty and earning nothing.
Yes.
So it seems a bit unscrupulous, but that's the way it is.
Yes, and some people are definitely taking advantage of the desperation, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you could then require a receipt that states that you paid for the entire year, and there will be a valid document. Also, it will be one chunk of document that you can then provide to Seth, and you say, "Oh, this is yes, I do have a contract for a year too, but I also will stay for a year because I paid for the full year." Obviously, that will mean that you will be a lot of clients have been required to transfer a big chunk of their budget at once.
Yeah,
could be a bit of a challenge. We review contract also of property that were not in Lisbon, therefore the rent was a lot lower. It was an easier transaction to be made because the amount was a lot lower. But obviously, if you're looking into renting in Lisbon, it seems to be a practice that starts to appear. There's nothing we can do against that sort of trend. Yeah. Hopefully, it's not here to stay, but it's happened.
Yes. Okay. Something to be aware of there. You can get help from Fabrizio and Ian here, or I should say Ian and Fabrizio, as we're reading from left to right on the screen. This is their company, Project Lisbon, and this is where we throw the phone lines open on Europe's biggest phone in. We're making history together here, chaps.
Yeah,
wonderful. The early days of Europe's biggest phone in. I'm going to play the jingle now. We'll be back on the other side of this. Right, there we go. So, did you like that? That's a bit of music coming from my phone. So the phone line is ready: 00351 913 590303. You can use that to send in messages as well, of course, via WhatsApp. And but you can call and you can remain anonymous if you wish, if you don't want to disclose your millionaire or billionaire status whilst talking to Fabrizio and Ian this morning of Project Lisboeta. So anything else you wanted to tell us from the year that's gone, from 2022, and your
all the strange things that we find?
It's surely a year that we hope is going to improve. I mean, there's not much peace around in general. Now I'm moving the topic to.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
And so we really hope that humanity get back into a more
sensible, friendly, peaceful, joyous, those sorts of things. Yeah, it does seem a little bit tense at the moment, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
So it was a bit weird for that aspect. 2022 for us was a bit of a learning curve into a lot of things, and so therefore we're quite thankful for that. It came for a few challenges, but then we had, you don't go anywhere with any of those. So we're quite thankful for what came our way. And
congratulations as well. It's no mean feat starting and running a business in Portugal. That's for sure. I mean, starting a business has its own, pressures and challenges anywhere in the world. And I think in a new culture, with an additional language to learn and a culture to learn. Congratulations to you for
thank you very much.
Yeah, it's quite the milestone, I think, to get another year under your belt. And good luck for 23. We've got look at this. We've got some great news from Jean. Definitely a round of applause for you, Jean. Bondi, on my way to Portugal this afternoon, tap 0202, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard at TA 0202.
We wait at the airport with you. We'll have a sign up.
Yes.
We'll check your landing.
Where about your landing, Jan?
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Gene, do you know what TAP stands for? Asked Pete, according to the lovely Antonio F. Apparently, take another plane. It's not that bad these days, I don't think, is it? My lawyer in Lisbon said the same of TAP, take another plane. I've been happy with them. Now, the trains, on the other. Oh, have you had a bad experience with a train, Marty? Let us know about that so others can learn from that experience. You've picked a beautiful day to travel. Have a safe journey and make sure you have a bifana, pastel de nata, and coffee when you arrive. And Gene definitely cannot wait for the first Portuguese coffee. That's a great moment. If we may have a selfie, if you remember your first coffee being sipped on this trip, Gene, that would be wonderful. Marty took a train from Guimarães into Porto the other day. This despite having a new car. Thought I would try it. I got to Porto just fine. But then they went on strike and I was stranded in Porto. Cost €80 to take an Uber back from Porto to Guimarães. I will drive next time or get the bus. There is a big, it's not a prejudice exactly, but a misperception possibly. Bus travel in the United States is not seen as a very, very glamorous. That's right. Yes, it is the least form of transport. Let's put it that way in the United States. Not so in not so in Portugal. My trip to Porto on the coach was fantastic last week. Really enjoyed that. So definitely consider the bus as well, Marty, as well as driving yourself. Just to make this clear, yes, not everything I say is true. There are occasional slippages, Paul. So yes, the internet, social media, double check, fact check for yourself. I have a bus ticket, says Gene, when it comes to the possible strikes that are going on with trains. This was a good plan, I think, Gene. I have a bus ticket now as well as my original train ticket. Bus leaves from Orient Station as well. Now, to have the bus ticket and the train ticket doesn't mean that Gene is made of money, because the bus prices are incredible, aren't they, here as well?
And the quality of traveling is, I think, is quite good. I mean, compared to various experiences we had. I mean, we travel in buses around Cuba.
Yes.
And
how was that?
There were animals of different kinds. There were chickens. There were people with birthday cakes.
Yes.
And so that was fantastic. But compared to that, this is just Vegas VIP tour.
Exactly. It's part of our job here is to retrain the American mind to get back on the bus.
That's it. Get on the bus.
Really is.
The trains are good as well. It's worth, I mean, we haven't experienced bad experience with the trains.
Yes.
And they have also check out for offers. Yeah, because we've got some really good offers. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago we went to Porto for like €20 return.
But also there's trains journeys in Portugal which are rather spectacular.
Yes.
The train journey they pass through the Douro, they're beautiful. There's one in the Alentejo that is incredible.
Yeah.
So also the train journey itself could be a day out. And also, I don't know if anyone is like us that we could. I could potentially sit on a train looking outside the window, no talking, for a full day, and with headphones or no headphones, and just they're looking outside. So
Fabrizio doesn't drive, so just the fact that you look at something else on the road.
That's
a great advantage.
Yeah.
We had an offer as well, a T5, €1.5 million. I don't know. That sounds a little bit on the expensive side, doesn't it? Perhaps there, but we need to know a little bit more about the property we might be buying. Let us know. And that's from Lord Gilchrist, where the sun is beaming, the sun's shining on the righteous again.
It's wonderful, actually.
They're in the capital. And Andy, sorry, the Gumper map does have some swings on it, apparently. I'm confused again here with what's gone on with the points of interest and the incredible service that Andy does for us in including things on our Gumper map there with points of interest, events, and so on. I believe there are some swings that are on there. These
found a very good one in what was it? Alcocer do Sol.
Alcocer do Sol.
Yeah, Alcocer do Sol. If you go right up on the top by where the castle is, there's a beautiful swing there,
and that is when you're coming back from what?
Alcocer do Sol is the internal part of Comporta.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So actually, yeah, exactly. So it's the Sardo. It's the first. Actually, if you're driving, really, it's the first place you can cross to go back towards Lisbon. Because you have to drive quite a bit inland and back out again.
Yes, I've been there, and there's a lovely waterfront there in that
Yes,
town.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Along the
exactly.
river, yeah, it's great.
Recently redeveloped. Pete says it's such a lovely community that builds swings all over the mountains. They are just fun. Sure. Have you tried the one in Alvagracar? I have. I've seen the pictures of Gary swinging in Alvagra.
The words, the concussion of words.
Yes, I can't unsee them. Maybe a bit of clickbait for your channel, Colin Lewis. Swinging with Viagra in Portugal. Yes, if I. I'll write it down and bear that in mind. Thanks for that.
It's getting worse.
It's going down here. Yeah.
Is here. Bon dia from a sunny but shrouded in mist Travanza, the Mondego. Looking forward to getting home today. And that's not far from where Carpe Diem is Porto de Mos, where the video we showed of the Serra Ventosa, Windy Edge. Is over that way as well. Really, really lovely. Always looking for opportunities to be grateful for the rain and grateful for the clear blue skies. Yeah, true. This is James. A point of order here. I apologise for any cognitive dissonance I may create with our "it's been raining for 120 days straight" believers and this observation. If it's not all of Portugal. If not, all of Portugal is not raining today. It's true. And I have been over-egging that pudding for sure about the rain. And I was so delighted to sit in the bay yesterday at the meetup, bathed in sunshine. It was absolutely wonderful. Owen is adding to his beautiful pictures that we've seen the birds on the water, the otter on the water, and some of those textures of the River Lima. There are underwater shots to come. This is fantastic.
Right.
More information about Portugal then. Ugo Nuno is in the house, everybody, with his fun facts and phenomena. There he is, the man with the magnifying glass, Ugo Nuno. Who knew? Portugal is mostly water. The borders of... Oh, no, I didn't know this. Did you know this?
Well, I guess if you go from here to the Azores and the land in between,
Well said. Territorial Portugal then. Borders of Portugal stretch super far out into the Atlantic Ocean. And capturing a lot of water. You're absolutely right there, Fabrizio. Capturing a lot of water areas around the Azores and Madeira, meaning that Portugal is about 95% water. That's why it's so emotional and deep and saudades. Yes, Portugal's sea territory accounts for more than 18 times its land area. Isn't that incredible? All of that seafood in there. A few dad jokes to come a bit later on, thanks to T-Duck as well, which is really good. And yes, there is a link to some of the swings. How comprehensive is your swing list, by Randy? How many of you managed to put up onto the Gumper map there? And thanks again for what you do in that department. I'm already expressos to Faro. Yes, it's not the only coach operator, is it, in Portugal? There are some independents as well, I believe, aren't there? Plix or some other brands are available. What's this? 15 hours between Sydney and Brisbane. A plane would have taken. Hold on. So Flix, not Plix. Okay, cabs are the last resort. We've got all sorts of feedback coming in about planes, trains, and automobiles this morning. I only use taxis in an extreme case and for short trips, says Pete. My experience, says Pete, of taxis in Lisbon has been similar to Marty. Quicker walking, unless you're with Lord Gilchrist. Now, tell us about this. You're Lisboetas, aren't you? What do you think of? What's your preference? The green and black cabs, the Ubers, the Bolts. What do you do?
We live quite central, so we walk.
Yeah. Okay.
So mostly everywhere.
Or public transport. I mean,
public transport.
Buses are great.
We like to use buses because they're rather reliable.
Yeah,
and I can look outside.
Okay.
The metro we have a metro stop just in front of our place, so we tend to use the metro. But once that I get into the metro, I go outside the metro, and then I swap my car, and I wait for the bus, and I wait for the train, and all the other stuff. I had 10 minutes today, and I walk wherever I want to go.
Yes.
So it keep me fit too. Taxis, I'm sorry to hear to. My experience has been similar to Marty. I don't know how Marty's experience was, but we use taxis in Lisbon all the time. And when it used to be an absolute luxury in London to get a taxi from a place to another one, here is one other transportation, and everybody uses it, and it's cheap, and there are plenty on the street. So our experience with taxi is quite good, and we use it quite often.
We do have to say that quite a bit. It's probably a bit out of hours. So I guess if you're traveling peak times, you may find that traffic can get really snarled up. So, at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's usually quite good.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? And you feel like you're living the dream then, can't you? As you're driving through the romantic streets of Lisbon, in one of those black and green cabs, and you get dropped off at your place, and you just look up at the night sky of Lisbon. What a lovely vignette that is, an affirmation of life.
At times also in our taxi journeys is the time that we kind of take it all in. There's time in the day and time in our life here that we do sit back and take it all in.
Yes.
And sometimes taxi journeys are also that, because someone else is driving, and then you go outside and just say, well.
And you meet some interesting drivers as well, don't you, in Portugal? People from all over the world, the traditional Lisboeta taxi drivers. That's the shortest unit of time as well, the people should know, shouldn't they? The time it takes from the traffic light to go green and for the taxi driver to hoot his horn behind you. That is the shortest known unit of time on the universe.
It's almost at the same time, It's almost,
it's almost while it's still red.
They're wired together. These people think that... And the change of lighting is the same wire.
Indeed. Antonio only uses taxis in extreme cases, and it has this information that the strikes are continuing. They were yesterday, today, and they will be tomorrow as well. So it was a good call to get the bus ticket, Gene. And they're striking for only overthrow. I'm not sure if it's a pay and condition strike to do with overtime, but there'll be it sounds like there is some provision, but it might be a bit patchy. I think still the bus was a good call for Eugene there. My tap flight was great as well. So James helping us debunking the rain myth and the tap myth this morning. Our very own fact checker. Cabs are a last resort for Lord Gilchrist. And he's got his own driver, I suspect, though, hasn't he? As a lord, you would have your own driver, wouldn't you?
It would.
So this is old news, isn't it? It's take another plane. It's hard to get rid of those sorts of reputations, though. Do call in if you've got stories about air travel to Portugal. If you want to talk to Ian and Fabrizio, 913-590-303. Call in to Europe's biggest phone-in. Or it soon will be. I prefer to have a car available as well. I took one long distance bus. Never again. What's up with him? This is Lord Gilchrist. He's such a snob, isn't he? Don't know what happened there.
Well, he does have rather high standard.
Yes, indeed.
And I agree with him.
He's brought with him from the old place, I think. For buses, you can look for Radio Expressos and Flix. So Flix is the other brand to look out for. Oh, this long distance journey. Yeah, this is what put him off. 15 hours between Sydney and Brisbane. Not even the cheeky Australian humour could make that any better.
No.
A plane would have taken an hour. So, yeah, he's not over it. He's so not over it.
And your own plane usually is even better.
Exactly, yes. That's right. He's used to a 1 hour in his own plane, and he's had to sit with other people, with other human beings for 15 hours on a smelly bus.
Life is tough,
isn't it, when you're a lord?
Yeah. The struggle.
It's real. I can't wait.
The struggle is real for real.
Until I can actually call the car to pick me up by itself. This is Pete's Tesla upgrade, I suspect here. Pick me up by itself, then have Andrew Gilchrist sitting in the driver's seat. They found a German guy asleep in his Tesla on autopilot. Was that Matty from our own community? But what I'm hearing here in my mind's ear is you actually arguing with your car on the phone. It's like, car, where are you? You're meant to be picking me up at the pub. I can't possibly drive in this state. What do you mean you're still charging? Hurry up and get on with it. I can't stay here all night. On the motorway, this is okay. So this German guy falls asleep in his Tesla autopiloted car, and the police took 15 minutes. So they're driving alongside, going,
"Oh wow, that's incredible."
This is the world we're beginning to live in, folks. He had a device to trick autopilot. on the steering wheel. Bit of German innovation on the way back from the pub, possibly.
The best innovation, but
Incredible. That's because you took the snail bus across Australia. I also took the snail train once to the Algarve. Took me 8 hours to get there. Yes, be careful with that. That can get to you. But look at that. Bus claims to be 3 hours 25 from Lisbon to Faro. That's not bad, is it?
No, absolutely. And it's a rather beautiful journey. So
yeah. Portugal has the largest territorial waters in the EU, and you would expect it to have, wouldn't you, on this western frontier here? A really good Ugu Nunu this morning. Jean, the Alpha Pendula trains take about the same time and cost 23.50 or 31.40. I think Antonio must have looked that up on the excellent CP app, which is a really good bit of technology. Both of them, actually, the Radio Espressos and CP apps and websites are very, very good. And you did indeed take the AP down for your last trip and the IC back. They were both good. Now, what's the distinction between an AP and an IC? Do you know that, gentlemen?
Well, I think one's faster.
It's the Alpha Pendula is the fast one, I think. And the IC is the old stock, the Intercity, I think, or Intercity. Carl H., another English gentleman, not unlike yourself, Ian, in Lisbon. If I need a taxi, I use Bolt. Uber is just too unreliable. So there's that review of Uber. Bolt seemed to be...
we find Uber to be a little bit expensive, actually.
Actually, Bolt is definitely cheaper, and it has been pretty reliable. If we do use an alternative, we do use...
So Bolt has it then, and certainly Jim was saying this for Porto as well. So maybe consider Bolt if you're loading apps onto your phone when you're coming to Portugal. Think about Bolt as well for transportation in the big cities. It's not all over Portugal by any means, but certainly in the big cities. Uber in London was brilliant, but in Lisbon, the taxi just stole my new iPhone. I could track where they took it.
Well, the actual taxi, the car itself.
These cars are getting really too clever for their own good, right?
Those cars are hood.
Autopilot. I mean, maybe they're the ones who are putting all this information up on Facebook as well.
Sabotage.
Clever Teslas. Train drivers won't work overtime tomorrow. Okay, so there might be less trains available than usual, but many more than today. Thank you, Antonio, for that little update there. Uber doesn't work in Lisbon at Carl H. Strange, as it works brilliantly in London, Bangkok, Cairo, just not Portugal. Maybe it's something to do with the rivalry between the standing and traditional taxi drivers and them not wanting Uber to muscle in on their territory. I don't know. Up to this very moment,
we find the fare to be quite the same with taxis that we book on Bolt or the one that we stop on the street.
Yes.
There's not much fluctuation between the two of them.
Yeah, and it's an experience in its own right, booking a green and black taxi, isn't it? Because it's part of the tourist tick box or tick list, isn't it? To get in there and try and have a conversation with a Lisbon taxi driver with your rudimentary Portuguese is part of the fun, I think. And you'll meet some real characters. I mean, taxi drivers are characters. Let's face it. Up to this very moment, I've just been listening to the show and reading some of the comments while stuffing myself with a huge tasty breakfast. Why not? Why not? But now I'm back again to greet you all and thank you for your awesome company. How was breakfast? Sarah said we didn't actually say hello to you in Stuttgart this morning. It's in the huge snowstorm we had in America last week or the week before, says Nom de Plume. The Tesla would not charge, so those people were stuck. It's early days in the adoption curve, I think, what with Germans driving themselves down motorways asleep and the battery charging and those sorts of things. But I'm sure it will all be a long forgotten memory at some point when we're all driving around or being driven around in flying cars. Long bus journeys just remind me of scenes from Trainspotting. You could end up sitting next to someone from Scotland if you're... Oh, stop it, Pete. Come on. You can't tar all of Scotland with that same brush.
We love the
honestly, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not for all Scottish people. Come on. And the Algarve line was having sporadic issues, not sporadic issues, carrying on with the Scottish theme, but sporadic issues. Can you imagine having a sporadic issue?
I've seen few of those, but
the Algarve line was having sporadic issues on this occasion with track work. When I was there in May, I was told the issues were related to working conditions, i.e. pay. Definitely better off on the coach. Uber is used. Look at this. Uber's getting a right old panning this morning here on the Morning Portugal. Portugal show. You can call, if you're an Uber driver and you want to defend
please,
your
please phone in.
Yes, 913-590-303. Please phone in. We're begging you. Okay, I prefer.
Move to Bolt. It's whatever.
Or move to Bolt.
Yes, I prefer analog cars. Liquid fuel gives me 1,000 kilometer range, and I have a lever to change gears. He's really old-fashioned, isn't he? We're getting a picture of Lord Gilchrist's life here, aren't we?
Does Lord Gilchrist travel with his own luggage, or do they travel in different times? I mean, usually,
I
imagine the luggage will arrive before.
Magically, it will appear ready. Mustard, condiments, gentleman's relish, these sorts of things will be there in position on his arrival. Yes,
I would not expect anything less.
Exactly, his ermine furs will be there.
So those modern things are far too complicated. I'm with you, Mr.
Yes. Okay. Nom de plume. It'd be nice if you called in, and people whose names we see every morning. It'd be nice to have you call in so we can hear your voices and put a voice to the name as well. IC trains. This is from cyclist Sarah. The IC train has a space for bicycles in second class. It's all we book, so maybe not so much on the alphabet. Lots of great advice coming in this morning. This is fantastic, not least from Project Lisboeta here, who are, of course, Ian and Fabrizio. Jean, I'm just about to have a nice cup of Portuguese coffee. Aren't you jealous? He's winding her up in the comments here. He's a wind up. Look at me drinking my Portuguese coffee. Are you jealous? The IC train has space for bicycles in second class, so it's all we book, says Sarah. We've done that one. But yeah, useful to know for you cyclists. Setable with a question mark. Okay, you'll have to come and have some muscat from. Oh, yeah, there we go. Not from Siebel, but from Stubel around the pool in the summer. Then, very good. That's a nice invitation. Thank you, Pete. And yes, my baggage arrives before me. Now, I
will not expect anything less.
But is it his emotional baggage or his actual? probably both, right? Probably both, I think. Lord Gilchrist, who has 2 certificates already, calling in to the biggest phone in Europe. Here's his second certificate. There he is. There's the Lord himself. He might go for bronze today, but we are actually running out of time. I think we'll go to our dad jokes now by way of closing out the show. And any comments that we haven't yet come to, we will cover those. Oh yes, I carry my emotional baggage with me. Never go anywhere without it. In fact, okay, yes, very good, Lord Gilchrist. So let's have a look at those dad jokes then from earlier on in the show. And I think have we done these together before? Us three?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking of a good dad jokes that I do have myself.
Really? Did you bring them with you this time? Are they Italian flavored dad jokes?
No, it's rather
universal.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Please start. You can start if you would like. I mean, no, hold on. No, don't start. Don't start. No. We've got to issue fair warning to people. Because I have not heard these before. So just for everybody's health and safety.
Warning.
Oh no! You have been warned. Over to you, Fabrizio, with your.
It also brings us back to the previous topic of our previous conversation, and I say people does say.
Oh, we've got a call. Hold that.
Take a call.
Got a call. Sarah Nom de Plume, is that you?
Did I call the right number?
No, this is a fish and chip shop in Liverpool in the UK. What did you want? What were you looking for?
Oh, good day, mate. I got the wrong number. Could we have a chat?
Good day, mate.
I'm calling from the.
Go on. Go ahead.
Honest to God, am I talking to the right number?
Well, I don't know what number you called. That's the thing. You got to tell us what you were hoping for. What were your aspirations as you picked up the phone this morning? Were you hoping to speak to Ian and Fabrizio and Carl on the Good Morning Portugal show on Europe's biggest phone-in? No, I think not.
Well, you're live now. Just let it out.
You're live now anyway, baby.
Whatever.
Okay, this is too weird. I can't see the show anymore. The show's disappeared. I'm talking to you, and it's hollow.
Well, it is that extra weird because the picture I can see of you is with a sack over your head. This Europe's biggest phone-in took quite a strange turn this morning. Was there a particular question you had in mind for Europe's biggest?
No, just called in to show my voice so you could hear it.
That is fantastic.
Oh, it's a beautiful voice.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
And where are you?
I'm not British.
We gathered that. Now, where are you calling from? Do you care to give us your location?
I'm calling from the middle of Hicksville, USA,
Really?
Arkansas.
And how is Arkansas this morning?
It is not. You don't want to live here. We've reached a record crime rate for this year, for the biggest crime rate in history of this place.
Well, I'm sorry
and I need to get out of here quick.
Okay, and hence your interest in Portugal, of course. What can we do for you then to have you to be released of this predicament, nom de plume? How can we help?
No, just called to say hi. Goodbye now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, that was brief.
Our noses are out of joint here, but
since you wanted to hear people's voices, here you are.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I will send you. Did you want the photo that you've used on your WhatsApp profile to be on your certificate? Because people won't be able to see it. Your grandchildren won't be able to recognize you in that picture as they proudly look at your certificate.
Wait, the burqa picture?
Yes, you and your burqa there. I mean, if you want to be in the burqa in your certificate, you can be, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know what the certificate is, but I'll take your word for it.
Take it anyway. Okay. It's now part of the CEF. Talking of things that you shouldn't believe on social media, the certificate that says you've been on Europe's biggest phone-in is now a requirement of the CEF visa process. So make sure you have that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. There you go.
Okay, thanks very much.
Fantastic. And that's why. That is
was she the first one?
What's that? No, she was our third caller. Unless Lord Gilchrist had called in twice. So let's say she's our fourth caller, making this Europe's biggest phone. Thank you so much, Nom de Plume, for that. And so people follow that example. Make a note of the number 913-590-303. Over to Fabrizio for a dad joke now.
Okay.
We were quite thrown.
I was so curious about the lady from Arkansas, but anyway, so it goes back to what the topic of our conversation last time, and the joke goes like this: people say the gay marriage ruined the fabric of society. Well, this is not true because I don't know any gay person that will do anything to harm fabrics.
That's a gay dad joke, right?
Yeah.
Yes, shout out to all the gay dads this morning. Fantastic. Good job there. Really good. Did you have any more?
No, that was it.
Okay, and did you hear that and think I'm gonna share that? I'm gonna share that with the Gumpers, that dad joke. No. You didn't, did you? Just said it. It just came up this morning. Okay, fair enough. I'm trying to organize a hide and seek tournament, but good players are really hard to find. That's good, isn't it? Not as good as your fabric one yet.
No.
I got over my addiction to chocolate, marshmallows, and nuts. I won't lie. It was a rocky road.
It's good.
And scientists got together to study the effects of alcohol on a person's walk. And the result was staggering.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for those teams up there. And at 1 minute past 10 o'clock this morning on Europe's Biggest Phone-In and the Good Morning Portugal show, it remains for me to say thank you so much, both of you. It's always a joy to see you, especially when
thank you.
dad jokes with you as well, which is fantastic. And your lovely update, your experiences from 2022. Last word to you then. What are you hoping for 2020?
Actually,
you yourselves in Portugal?
A lot of stuff, but I was reading this thing that could be read as a good thing for the beginning of the year. So if I may, I would like to read a bit of a poem from Dr. Maya Angelou.
Oh yeah, great.
And I think it could be a good thing looking forward to the year ahead, especially in times of that. And And it goes like this. What I really want to be is a representative of my race, of the human race. I have a chance to show how kind we can be, how intelligent and generous we can be. I have a chance to teach and to love and to laugh.
Yes. Could you do that for me one more time? We had a call trying to come through.
Yeah.
As you said, let's. I've just turned the fader down on the phone for a moment. Capricorn Chris, be quicker tomorrow if you will. And others, make a note of the number 913-590-3030-00351, the code to set that up to get you through to the right country in the first place. And we'll finish now with this beautiful reading by Fabrizio from Maya Angelou. And we will wish you a very good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. So take it away, Fabrizio.
What I really want to be is a representative of my race, of the human race. I have a chance to show how kind we can be, how intelligent and generous we can be. I have a chance to teach and to love and to laugh. I know that when I finish doing what I'm sent here to do, I will be called home, and I will go home without any fear, trepidation, wondering what is going to happen.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for treating us to that this morning. That's how we roll here, I hope, as a community. What a lovely thing to share with us this morning as an affirmation for the year ahead. We can do this, can't we? Despite all the other influences and forces at work, I think that's very possible if we can just recenter ourselves around those sorts of sentiments. So thank you both. Ian, Fabrizio, have a great 2023, and we shall see you next month. Yeah, take care. Bye for now. We'll see you all soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Oh, see you tonight on the webinar for Expats Portugal. Bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.